Hi guys, this is Erica Weston with Fox Sports Midwest, and you're listening to my favorite St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio.
Welcome to Season 8, Episode 46 of Let's Go Blues Radio, the often imitated but never duplicated, the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast. Happy New Year to everyone out there listening. We're broadcasting live on Wednesday, January 1st, 2020. It's our first show of the new year. This is franchise episode number 232 all time. Your hosts tonight are yours truly, Kurt Price, Bill Day, and Jeff Ponder. And for your listening pleasure, for the next little while, we'll be talking Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues hockey. To interact with the show on social media, you can follow the show on Twitter at LGB Radio. My handle is at Kurt Price, Bill's is at Billy Blue Note, and Jeff's is at JPonder94. Follow us on Instagram. You can like us on Facebook, and you can check out the YouTube channel where you can watch past episodes. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you get notifications when we go live each week. The website is letsgoblues.com, where you can listen or watch past episodes. And for those of you watching the live show on YouTube, feel free to comment in the live chat on my left, which would be your right. And if you enjoy the show, we ask if you wouldn't mind leaving a shiny happy review on, it's no longer iTunes. It's Apple Music now. You guys know that?
Yeah.
iTunes is like
I did.
either being phased out or going away, or they've launched Apple Music. I'm not an Apple guy, so I just heard about it. I haven't experienced it myself.
I've never been an iTunes guy myself, even when I had an iPhone. So good riddance.
Yeah, I hated iTunes when I had an iPod and iPads. iTunes it's always been terrible. People complain about it for years. It's about time.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm on the opposite side of that.
You like iTunes?
I have a lot of time and quite a bit of money invested in iTunes. I
Okay.
have over 10,000 songs.
Which I assume would be migrated over to Apple Music.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so. I don't know. I read up about
Guy,
it
you would
last year
hope that
when
would be a seamless transition.
Right. But yeah, so I retrofitted my video iPod with a solid state hard drive so that I could fit my entire catalog
Yeah.
on my iPod in my car because my car is too old to have Android Auto and that stuff. So
Scrolly to Andre Hyman in the YouTube chat. Happy New Year, sir. He says Spotify is way better. So we may have a fight.
I'm a new adapter to Spotify and I love it.
Yeah, Spotify's great.
From what
We are on Spotify, by the way,
we are. Search for
and Apple Music.
Let's Go Blues
Or
Radio
podcasts.
on either one of those. Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts. So it's where we're at.
Yep.
Happy New Year, guys. How many bullets did you guys shoot into the air last night at midnight?
Oh well, I'm like a stone's throw from Jeffco, so I mean, I just went all night.
I never understood that.
Yeah.
The whole shooting guns into the air. Who does that? Why? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
The
No.
we
bullet has to
didn't
come
hear
down
any.
somewhere.
Yeah.
We just had fireworks. That's all we heard.
Oh, see,
Luckily,
there was stuff on the news today about people shooting guns and someone getting grazed, and 5 people were killed in St. Louis the first hour of the new year.
yeah.
But not by
Beautiful.
that kind of
Not by that kind of shooting. No, those
Targeted
are
shooting.
targeted murders, right? But
Yeah,
it was
I was
just,
gonna say.
just like, I wonder what we're on pace for this year.
I don't even want to know.
Yeah. I
Golly.
think they said it was something like 336 last year, and start the year out with 5.
It's
Pretty
a
crazy.
bunch of idiots.
Yeah,
Over
but,
You guys want to know something worse than that happened to me this week?
Worse than a murder.
I tied in a hockey game.
You kissed your sister.
I basically, according to half the world, that's exactly what I did. Played my high school's alumni hockey game, and let me see what you guys think about this. So they set it up. I mean, it was great. It was a really nice event. They did it right. They rented out Centene, so we played on Blues Ice, which was fun, and it was a great time. But here's the issue: it was 3 periods, 15-minute stop clock. And what they did was, with the last period, they said, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to just put on the remaining time we have left in our rental. And so they threw on like 23 minutes, not stop clock. And my first reaction to that, I said this on the bench, well, I sure hope we don't tie because we're not going to get overtime now. And that's exactly what happened. Tied 4-4. I was pretty pissed about that.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah. So there you go. There are still ties in hockey, folks.
People still do ties, huh?
Well, we had no choice unless we wanted to, I guess, rent out the rink for another hour.
Or do
That
an
wasn't gonna
off-ice
happen.
tiebreaker.
We could have done
Captains
that.
kick one another in the nuts until one of them falls down.
Rochambeau.
Rochambeau
There you go.
all day.
Play a game of quarters or something. We could have done that. That's why didn't I think of that? That's actually a good idea. We should have done that.
Because you were angry.
Play-
That's why.
Play tackle football in the parking lot. I don't want to do that. There was a lot of younger kids there. I'd get my ass kicked. Most of the people there were like between graduating years of 2012 and 2017.
Did we want to talk about this replica cup thing, Jeff? Do you?
I mean, I know as much as you know about it, so we can.
Yeah, there's a. I'm pulling it up here right now. There is a. You can buy these. They're not cheap. I think if it's the same one, $5,000 you can buy a replica Stanley Cup, and a friend of yours has acquired one, and I'll put up on screen here for a second here.
Well, it's not anyone I know. It's
Someone
from,
you know
Mr.
who knows.
It's from STL Blues history. Somebody he knows.
Okay, well I'm not going to do that. I can't put that up on screen the way it is. We'll tweet it out, I guess. Is that cool? We'll do that?
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
Okay. But yeah, it's a replica Stanley Cup. It's got all the signatures on it, all the names on it from the past Cup winners. And from what we hear, you can't tell the difference. Did you see it, Jeff?
I saw the pictures. I sent you the pictures. That's all
Yeah.
I've seen.
Oh, you didn't see it in person? Okay. Yeah.
No.
And what you're told that you can't tell the difference between that
This,
and the,
coming from the mouth of STL Blues history, which
Right.
is somebody I think we all trust,
Sure.
he says he saw it up close and could not tell a lick of a difference.
that's crazy.
Like, it's that realistic, which is amazing. I would love to get my hands on that.
Because I have the one behind Bill, and it's 2.5 feet, something like that, or ish. So it's almost a foot shorter than the real cup, but
Those are nice, though. I like those.
they are nice, but there's no names on it.
No.
And this thing is and it's plastic. It's heavy, but it's plastic. And this thing is like metal, and you can't tell the difference. It's pretty sweet. But yeah, if you want one, it's like $5,000, I think.
Yeah, we're talking about getting this gentleman on the show, so maybe next week we'll have him on. And I know STL Blues history it says it's a friend of his, and that means he's a friend of ours.
Any friend of yours is a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
The official beers of episode number 232. Bill,
Bill, go ahead.
the first beer of the new year.
The first beer of the new year. And, it's like new morning, right? So, of course, I'm drinking a coffee stout. Founders. Espresso KBS.
It's not. Are you sure it's not an espresso?
I am goddamn sure it's not espresso. You wash your mouth out, young man.
You kiss your mom with that mouth?
No, this is, so obviously I've had no end of Founders Breakfast Stout, and KBS is their annual hard-to-get varietal bourbon barrel-aged coffee stout. The espresso KBS takes it even higher. It's after the barrel aging. It's rested on what is it? A bed of espresso. So it's aged on espresso beans after being removed from the barrels.
Didn't they say they were going to stop making
No.
KBS? CBS.
CBS is done.
CBS.
And that had the nice maple sub textual hint flavors from the maple syrup barrels. But no, this is aged on espresso, and probably this is the most coffee flavor of any beer, and it works so well. The coffee, chocolate, it's all here. I love it. I really like. There's not much of a what I found lately with barrel aged beers is they've become a little too dependent on the barrel for the flavor. This is definitely not barrel forward. This is coffee forward, and I love it.
Jeff, what do you got?
First of all, guys, how about a little cheers to 2019 for Blues fans? That was, let's do it.
Clang.
We're all in the same room here. Yeah.
Clang.
Hey. I didn't really hear that too well. Anyway, mine is I'm finishing up what may be my last purchase of the Mary Berry Ale for the season. We'll see if the stores still have it. I went to, for those interested, I know out here in South County, the Aldi off Lindbergh had Mary Berry Ale 6-packs on sale. So go buy those up if you are interested. That's what I did. So I'm drinking one of my last Mary Berry Ales. Drank a lot of them last night from Schlafly. Just one of the best Christmas ales in the area. And Bill, you've had these now, right?
Yeah.
I know you said you hadn't for a while.
Yeah, I had actually had a couple at the tap room right before Christmas. So yeah, it's good, but as I've said before, I still prefer the previous.
It was a good one.
Their Christmas ale from
I wish
from years past.
I wish they would release both. That would be nice. Maybe 2020.
Yeah,
We'll see. But it would be nice to have that one back too. But I like them both. They're both great.
They're both good.
they're both good.
They're both favorites.
Grape.
Mine tonight is a new one. All kinds of Brian Regan references.
A new one.
Peanut butter porter from Saugatuck Brewing Company. And Saugatuck is located in...
It's got to be New York.
Michigan.
Oh.
Douglas, Michigan. MI is Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. MN is Minnesota. Yeah. Okay.
Founders is Michigan. So.
Yeah. MO is Minnesota. MO is Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So yeah, it's good. I'm a big fan of peanut butter porters. Enjoyed the Horny Goat peanut butter porter on the show a few times, and this is may best that. It's quite good. Classic porter, rich with the delicious harmony of peanut butter. Open the tap on this flavorful for a silky smooth drinking experience. No spoons required. There you go. It's good. Try it out. You like a peanut butter porter there, Jeff?
Oh, of course, yes. I'll admit,
doesn't?
for a while, I had one. I think I was really young, young in terms of my drinking age. I think I was like 22, and I had one. I remember just thinking, "Oh God, this is terrible." And then I made myself try it again about 6 years later, and I was like, "Whoa, what have I been missing?" I don't know what the first one was that I had, but I don't know. Maybe it just was one of those tastes, the first time you have it that kind of takes you back. And ooh, I don't know about that. But man, now I can't get enough of them. It's good stuff.
So today in Blues history, courtesy of the @STO Blues History Tour account, January 1st, 2020. January 1st, 2019, just 1 year ago, it was announced that St. Louis would host the NHL All-Star Game in 2020. So it was a year ago today that was announced.
So has that happened yet?
No. January 24th? No.
By the way,
Yes.
speaking of I think isn't 24th the
24th?
skills competition?
Yeah, 25th. Yeah, that weekend.
25th the game.
Yeah, that weekend.
Yeah. By the way, I want to mention that Bill is wearing a very nice All-Star Game hoodie there.
I was gonna say, yeah, very nice.
Yeah, one of my many nice Christmas gifts this year.
Would you,
It's a
you
nice
know,
shade
we
of
didn't
blue.
get to talk to Bill last week. What did you get blues related or hockey related for Christmas besides the sweater there, Bill?
So I got the book, which I had mentioned before. I knew I was getting History Made. I got a replica banner and a nice framed picture of them celebrating like after the final whistle. So
Cool.
I'm spending the rest of the week redecorating, rearranging my office to make it much more hockey centric.
I've got so much stuff to my right. All this is like newspapers and
Yeah.
and things I'm gonna frame and put up. I've got a rally towel there from
Boston. Yeah.
I got the one up there from St. Louis. I got some frame things over there I got to put up, and I don't know where it's all going to go. My room is pretty packed the way it is.
And
Yeah,
you
I was
got
kind of
yourself a
upset-
Pat Maroon bobblehead.
Yeah, Pat Maroon Bobblehead and the Darren Pang.
Yeah.
When I set this room up over the summer and started putting up all my memorabilia from the Blues win and just other things, I set it up saying, oh, it's great. I'm going to have it behind me for the show, and you'll be able to see all of it. But I didn't realize we were doing this setup that we have now, which is a great setup. It looks fantastic. But I don't really get the chance to showcase my stuff as much because my giant head is blocking it.
I thought about that. You could always like be in the background. You could put the camera away from you so your head's not as big. taking
Yeah.
the full frame.
I might do that. And I may even you see up here, right above my head here. Oh man, I cannot. I would be terrible as a weatherman. There's some space up here. I could probably move stuff up and get some stuff showing there too. So I'll make it work.
It's fine.
Or I could
Jan-
just take my head off camera and you could see the beautiful St. Louis Post-Dispatch picture there. Take a look, everybody.
I love the what a trip. That's a great. I love that headline is such a trolling thing. I love it.
Beautiful. I love that it pissed off Portnoy so bad that he went and bitched about it on his channel.
He's a tool. He's such a
Yes,
tool.
he is.
January 1st, 1990, Curtis Joseph received his first call-up to the NHL by the Blues from Peoria. Joseph's play allowed for the Blues to trade Greg Millen and Tony Herkes to Quebec for Jeff Brown. That was significant. Greg Millen and the Herkes Circus for Jeff Brown
Yeah.
because of Joseph's play. So we ended up with Joseph and Jeff Brown in lieu of Millen and Herkes. It's quite the
That's
trade-up.
not a bad trade-off.
Quite the trade-up.
I
Finally
feel
got
like
a-
Jeff Brown's one of those guys that just doesn't get the lore that he deserves. Man, he had some unbelievable years in St. Louis.
Yeah, I mean he's kind of he was the first really strong right-handed shooting defenseman the Blues had, but then he was quickly eclipsed by the Stevens signing, the trade to Vancouver, and McInnes coming in.
And McInnes and I don't think Brown got a lot of credit league wide because of McInnes.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
he was always. If you're talking about offensive defensemen, people are like, oh, McInnes. I mean, Jeff Brown was up there, but you're not going to duplicate McInnes's numbers.
Every year, he was top 3 defensemen in points. He had, what, an 89-point season with the Blues? Is that
Did he?
right?
Did he really?
Let me check. Go ahead and move on to the next one.
Let's see. That is it for today in Blues history.
Well, then just vamp.
Vamp.
I love the headline.
Oh yeah, Blues. Yeah, the headline of the paper when the Blues brought Joseph up: Blues bonus baby arrives with New Year, because they signed him for $1 million, and he was making triple figures for Peoria, and everybody else was in double figures
Yeah.
at the time.
Yep. Signed him straight out of college.
Yep.
All right,
and I-
92-93, 78 points. I was
Okay.
a little off.
Yeah, the Blues outbid like 7 or 8 teams for him.
Yep.
Back in the days when that was more of a thing, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
the last one, I guess, is it Jimmy Vesey? and he's shunned multiple teams now, and not
Buffalo
done a whole
now,
lot with
right?
his career. Yeah, he's in Buffalo, and he had a chance to play in Boston after leaving the Rangers last year, because I think he was originally like the Predators, and they said no, or he said
No,
to
that
them.
was didn't he? Yeah, he pulled that crap where the draft eligible thing. You don't sign for what is it, 3 years? Then your senior year in college, you're allowed to sign anywhere.
Yep.
Yeah, and who was the kid that did that in Minnesota? And he turned out to be nothing. And like Zach Parise even came out and said, "Yeah, we don't want him on our team if he doesn't want to be here." And the dude turned out to just be nothing. I think he might still be in the league, but he's like a 7th defenseman somewhere.
Mike Riley.
That sounds right. Yeah, Mike Riley.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah, Montreal.
Oh, well, of course you would know that.
So this came out today. Bennington challenges Bieber to a breakaway competition. Did you see this, Bill? Jeff?
Yeah.
You guys see
Thought-
this? I think it was, I don't know if it was Art Lippo or somebody on Twitter said I don't like Bieber or his music or anything about him, but part of me really wants to see how this plays out. And I'm kind of in that boat. I'm like, I heard it and I'm like, oh, come on. It's a circus sideshow. I'm like, all right, I kind of want to see it just to see what happens. So
Yeah,
that
it comes out after Bieber had posted on Instagram a bunch of videos of him playing hockey, which, I mean, he's Canadian, so
He can
of
play
course
a little bit.
he grew up on skates. Everyone saw the picture of him getting slammed to the boards by Pronger a couple years ago.
Yeah. The
so-
LA All-Star game.
Yeah, so knowing all this, we knew he was a hockey player, and Bennington is just everything he does. It's just so much fun to witness more and more of his personality.
the
The
thing
Christmas
is,
video that came out when he was with the Wolves. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
That was
This-
fantastic. Everything about him is just, he's got such a good personality for a starting goalie in the NHL.
Yeah, he's the anti-starting goalie.
he really
He
is.
is.
The thing is, Bennington said 10 breakaways, me versus you. You score on me, I'll dye my hair platinum blonde.
That would be so
So
awesome to
that's-
see. God, I hope he takes him up on it.
That's the standing, but why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't Bieber take it? I mean, unless he's busy that day.
I think this is funny, too, because it comes a day after. I don't know if you guys heard the slight chatter between Kelly and Pang in last night's game against Arizona. They were talking about who's going to play Bennington in the movie about the 2019 Blues.
Yes.
And the first thing Pang said was Justin Bieber.
I was like, what?
That was a weird one.
That was
I
a weird.
like,
I didn't get
I
that
don't
one
know
at all.
about that.
I'm like, Bieber. No.
It's got to be a taller guy anyway.
Yeah, it's-
Bieber's
yeah.
a baby. He's
I
like,
don't-
what, like 5'7", 5'8"?
Maybe it was like the worst choice. That's why he said that, to be funny.
Yeah, maybe.
Darren Pang, always making jokes. So Bennington's comment was posted on a series of videos Bieber published, which you mentioned on Instagram last weekend. So I hope that happens. Just for the circus show that it is.
Dude, just put it have it be like a practice, before the All-Star game and fucking televise it. Why not? People would
I
love to
bet
see that.
you know what, they could record that and they could play it in between periods of one of the games. As
NHL
like a segment.
The NHL loves to push. I mean, they send me those push notifications of watch Matthew Perry cheer on the Kings, and it's like,
Yeah.
I don't care. This is something that if it happened, I would actually care about.
So with everyone doing their end of decades list with the 2019 coming to an end yesterday, everyone's doing the Blues top 10 moments of the decade and all this stuff. So and they're all pretty much the same, or more or less. So we're
Only
gonna do
one moment mattered.
Yeah, right. I mean, there's the handful of everyone's got the same half dozen huge goals. Most of them from last year's playoffs, and
Brower, falling down and swinging and missing.
Yes,
and
Brower's
getting it on
goal.
the third attempt.
Tarasenko's goal against the Hawks, maybe. But yeah, they're all over. There's quite a bit of overlap. So we went to something a little bit different. So we've got our top unsung moments of the decade. So these are moments that you might not think of in terms of being you wouldn't have, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that's why that happened, or that's how what happened, or something you don't think of, oh yeah, that's right, because it doesn't get that much play. So we got a number of them here. In 2010, the Blues traded Eric Brewer to Tampa Bay for Brock Bukaboom and I love that name, Brock Bukaboom, and a third round draft pick. That pick was used to select Jordan Binnington. This is let's see, 2010-2011 season trade occurred in 2011. So yeah, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, remember that was part of them clearing house. You got rid of Eric Brewer. Then right after that was the Johnson and Stewart trade. So that was Armstrong really kind of stepping in and saying, I'm remodeling this team to be something different than what we've seen the last 5 years. And I'm pretty sure everyone in St. Louis was on board with the Brewer trade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And who knew that it would turn into be what it was?
Right. Saying before the show how, we were finally able to get rid of that, but he's great in the locker room bullshit that they've been ramming down our throats.
Anybody who's not very good
for years, right?
Gets the, oh, he's good in the locker room. Good team guy.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay, that's fine.
That's what my friends say about me, and it makes me sad.
That doesn't blow a fan's skirt up.
No.
What does a fan care if a guy is good in the locker room if he can't play for shit?
Yeah.
2011, the firing of Davis Payne, which in turn led to the immediate hiring of Ken Hitchcock, who won the second most games in team history, had the best winning percentage of all coaches too, and we talked about this the other day. Yesterday, I guess, or today. Today.
It was yesterday, I think.
Yeah. That I thought when you mentioned this, Jeff, I was like, that was kind of a turning point for the. I mean, from being an organization that was good, ish, and then to kind of like
getting there,
taking it to the next level as far as like at least regular season success. I mean, they tore it up.
Well, because how many times did we mention with the old guard, with the Davis Payne teams and with Oshie and Berglund and all those guys saying, okay, they're good, but when are they going to move to the next level? When are we going to start seeing playoffs? When are we going to start seeing second round appearances, let alone a win in the first round? I mean, there just wasn't any of that with this franchise since 2002, which we're going to get to in a minute. But Ken Hitchcock, love him or hate him, he made this team play a style that really fit. And it brought this team back into the playoffs, made them a perennial playoff team. And they were a cup pick for a couple years before they won it there. And many of those years was when Ken Hitchcock was in charge. So it was a big moment, I think, for the franchise to go get that Stanley Cup winning Stanley Cup winning coach and make the philosophy change of, hey, you guys, if you don't work for this guy, you're not going to work for anyone. Because if you think about it, they don't bring in a guy and they don't turn it around that season. There was probably going to be another overhaul coming for that franchise, for this entire franchise. So that basically prevented a giant overhaul. And obviously 8 years later indirectly led to a Stanley Cup.
The Blues reached the 100-point mark in 4 of his first 5 seasons as coach, and they had 60 points in a lockout-shortened season, too, which would have put them over 100 points if the season went the full way. So, that's a good one. 2012, Niemi misplays a
Niemi. Yeah.
Misplays a point shot by Scott Nickel. Scott Nickel for the Blues.
Forgot that he played for the Blues.
One great season.
Yeah, which allowed for Langenbrunner's tying goal on the rebound late in Game 5 to tie the Sharks in the first round of the playoffs. Perron scored less than a minute later, and the Blues won that series. That was their first series the Blues had won since 2002, so it had been 10 years. And it was a long time coming. So that whole series kind of started just with a shot point from Scott Nickel, innocent enough. And Niemi botched it. He went to glove it and went off the cuff of his trapper, and it squirted out the other side, and Langenbrunner chipped it in. And that was the start of that comeback, which won the series for the Blues. So, thought that was.
I remember the pundits picking the Blues because the Kings had just upset the Canucks, in the first round. And Blues, and there was all the pundits in the NHL saying, "Oh, this is a Ken Hitchcock team. They're going to roll over the Kings." Yeah, not so much.
No.
Kings is only sweep of that playoff.
Didn't happen.
But it was nice to see him get a finally get another playoff win for those 10 years of mediocrity we saw from the Blues.
That triggered the comeback in that game, and that was the first series win they had in 10 years. So I mean, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
2013, Alexander Steen's irresponsible pinch. I think people talk about his goal when he stole the puck from Quick behind the goal in overtime when the Blues were shorthanded. Here's the deal: Steen should not have been back there.
No.
He's killing a penalty, and the Blues had dumped it down, gotten out a couple times, and dumped it down just the series before. And Quick went out behind the goal, stopped behind the goal, and did the same thing. But this time, the second time, Steen pushed. And if they move the puck up the ice, he's caught up ice, and the Blues are in trouble. So that was a huge gamble, and so his irresponsible play ended up paying off. So don't do that, kids.
I was going to say, I remember my high school coach always telling the forwards on the penalty kill, you don't go beyond the hash marks for your the opposing team. So if you're wanting to have one person go up and forecheck a little bit to force them out from behind their net, nobody goes beyond the hash marks. And I think a lot of coaches stress that. So, yeah, seeing Alexander Steen do that, I'm sure Hitchcock was kind of like, whoa, oh, never mind. Okay, wait, it worked out.
To me, this was my top 3 favorite goals, I think, by the Blues ever. Top 3
It's
or
up
4.
there for me, too.
Oh, it's huge. So, and this was...
Yep.
Gave us belief we could beat the Kings, too.
Yeah, it's one of those moments for me that I will always remember where I was when it happened, and it just was playing poker at a buddy's house in St. Charles in his garage, and like everybody jumped up from the table and just started running around like crazy.
That's the way you do it.
Yeah.
It's just a big goal like that in overtime. You just jump up and run around.
Yeah, it was,
I did that when Maroon scored.
Yeah.
Against Dallas. I was already standing, and I just jumped and I bolted down the hall, just yelling. 2014, the bad hand pass call with less than a minute remaining in Game 2 of the first round matchup between the Blues and the Hawks. This is interesting. I was watching a video of this goal. I was looking for just old moments and stuff to kind of see, okay, what can we use for the show when I saw this. And that before that goal was scored, so the huge goal by Tarasenko in the that series, Sobotka gloves the puck down in the offensive zone. And then 7 or 8 seconds goes by. The Blackhawks don't touch the puck. They're standing on the puck. They won't touch it. The Blues don't want to touch it, and clock's just taking off. And then Sobotka comes around, and he's around the puck. And I think he forgot he touched it. And then he touched it, and the Blues play dead. I mean, if you know how hockey works, if you glove the puck down, you're allowed to touch it again with your stick. Anybody else on your team touches it, the whistle gets blown. The play's dead. The play should have kept going. Before Tarasenko's goal, the play should have kept going. So they blew the play dead, face-off outside the zone. Blues won the face-off, and they brought the puck in, and then they set up, and the play never stopped again until Tarasenko scored. It was 6.4 to go, something like that. So that was a big deal. If that hand pass gets called the way it should have been called, Tarasenko's goal might never happen because the whole series the whole sequence changes after that. There's no face-off.
It's a fun
right
thing
there.
to think about. You're down by a goal, and to tie the game with 6.4 seconds left, Vladimir Sobotka was on the ice.
Was
Think
he
about
really?
that.
Oh yeah, he was really.
Duh.
Well, I mean, he could have went off for a line change at some point, but
But he was still out there with under 10 seconds left.
Was he? Okay.
Well, he had to be.
No. He gloved the puck down and the play stopped. It shouldn't have. You know what I mean?
Last minute then.
It was about 50 seconds to go when he gloved the puck, and then they 8 seconons ticks off, and then they touch it, and then the play's blown dead. I don't think he was on for the.
It
well,
just
of
again,
course
it
he
makes
was out
me.
there. He was a clutch player. Why do you think Buffalo would trade him for Ryan O'Reilly?
Well, they won the trade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They won the trade, Bill.
of course they did. No, that just goes to show me again. I've said this before. 2014 at the time, so many people, and probably some of us, were saying the Blues have a good chance of winning the Cup. Again, you go back and look at that roster, it's not as impressive as I think we thought it was at the time. Hindsight's 2020, though.
Yeah, and again, that goal top 3-4 goals for me ever. That just of the and we lost that lost that series, but that game, and that was game 2, and we were up 1-0, and we score with 6.4 to go and to tie it, and then we won in overtime, and it's like we're up 2-0.
Jackman
Holy shit.
in overtime, right?
Was it? Yeah, the one that trickled through. Was that his?
I think that
one?
was Jackman.
It might have been that. It might have been that goal. Yeah, I think it was. Had to be. Because they lost the next 4. I think. 2016, Seabrook's Game 7 double post behind Elliott. Had that shotgun in, the Hawks tie the game, and who knows who wins that series.
Yeah, that's up into that point. That's the goal that goes in every time against the Blues.
Yeah.
Late in the game, team's down by 1, they're pressing, they always found a way to do it. I mean, how many times, just think, like, I have visions of Pavel Datsyuk and Henrik Zetterberg burned in my brain. How many times they hooked up those late in the previous decade, right? And it just, this was when it really felt like the things had changed for the better and we got the bounce that we needed.
Yep. That game was so massive at the time. I couldn't. That was one of the, at the time, top couple moments for me. Favorite games. Yeah. That
still is
favorite series. The biggest moments. God, it was just. Yeah, and a double post, if that goes in, that's tie game, and it's late in that game, and who knows.
And keep in mind, too, this was after the Blues had a 3-1 series lead. And so then Game 7, right? Didn't they have a 3-1 series lead?
They did. I think so.
Then they lost the next 2, and it was, here we go again. And then that happens, and it's, like Bill said, every Blues fan, well, if that's any other year, that puck's going in the net.
Yep.
Every time.
2018, Tom Wilson's headshot on Sundqvist in the preseason.
Let's praise Tom Wilson. I love that guy.
Well, this has been talked about a little bit. If that doesn't happen, Sundqvist, they said, was on his way down. He was not going to make the team. And because of the headshot, an injury. He was put on IR, and he was able to stay up. And then when he came off IR, he had a spot on the team. I forgot what happened, but they put him in the lineup, and he hasn't left since. So not really, I don't think. Has he? He was sent down at all at
Sundqvist?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
No, he's been up ever since.
Okay. Yeah. So
wait. I want to say, didn't he start the year in San Antonio after the injury and then came back?
I didn't think he did. I thought that was the whole point behind.
Right. They kept him on the roster.
They were able to keep him on the roster because of the IR status, and I don't think he started in San Antonio. I thought he started here. If he did, we can, But
I'm looking.
Yeah.
2017, 2018, 6 games in. No, that was the next year, right?
17-18, that was the year prior. This is 2018, prior to the 18-19 season.
18-19. Yeah, he did not play any games for San Antonio that year, so maybe not.
Yeah. So he was on IR, and that's why he was on IR. They said he was going down, being sent back, but funny how that worked out in our favor. Winnipeg's Kevin Hayes prevents his own shot from going in. Last playoffs, round 1.
Yeah.
What game was that?
It was game. So had to be game 2.
Yeah, because he shot the puck, and then he was getting was battling for position with his little shot towards the net. His blade came back and knocked the puck. Yeah.
Somebody put leverage on top of his stick, forced it down, and as he's trying to break free of it, swings back the other way and knocks out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the reminder of that with last weekend with Nikolai Ehlers. stopping one going in as well.
That was beautiful.
The Jets just they need all the
Can't
help
stay
they
out of their
can
own
get,
way.
and, yeah, can't stay out of their own way.
It's and it's so interesting how things happen that way, and how you never know what's going to happen if a goal goes in, like a big goal, like Cogliano, the next one,
Yeah.
our next one on the list. Cogliano misses the gaping net at 13:54, the first overtime in Game 7 of Round 2. I mean, 9 times out of 10 that puck goes in, and he's got that goal.
Yeah,
right.
and
I mean,
it bounced over his stick and
it just went
fluttered wide.
It just grazed the outside of the net.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Kurt gave us the screenshot here, and you look at that, and that's a goal 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
and
That's
I
crazy.
was shocked. Like, whenever you went back and watched just game recaps for that series,
they don't talk about it.
they don't show
No,
it.
they don't.
It's
I
insane.
I watched like 3 recaps to try and get video of it, and they don't show it. I'm like, that is.
Well, it's
They show
you
the
guys
Ben
know
one.
why.
They show the Ben. They show
Yeah.
the Ben wraparound that was almost over the line, but
Yeah.
Bennington made the save.
Right.
But
Hit-
but Bennington made that save.
Right.
I mean,
this
if,
one, he had no
yeah,
prayer.
he really didn't. I mean, he did lift the puck up, and he just missed the goal. He's got
You guys know why they don't show it, right?
no.
Andrew Cogliano's mother is the one in charge of the replays put out by the NHL. So that's
What?
why.
What?
You didn't know that?
I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
it's Andrew Cogliano's mother. She's in charge of it, so she didn't want her son to have to go through that embarrassment again.
I don't know about that.
Look it up.
I would say I would have believed you, but I don't.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't believe me. But
That's good though. Good try. Good effort.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. No, I want to add. You just mentioned the Jamie Benn. We don't have that on the list here, but
Yeah.
Jamie Benn not missing, but coming oh so close to ending the series, and the Blues going out in the second round. I mean, how? Again, obviously, things are way different if the Blues don't go to and win the Stanley Cup. But how different of the offseason would the Blues have had if that happens? Completely different.
I know, and that was very, very close. But Bennington made the save, and that's and that's talked about a lot. That wraparound not going in, but
Yeah, I mean, Bennington's pad was entirely behind the goal line. There was just enough of it to keep the puck from crossing the goal line.
and the puck was like 3/4 of the way across the line.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Because I still remember Eddie Olczyk, because Olczyk's calling that. And he's like, oh, that was close.
And when I saw it at real time, I'm like, no, it wasn't. I mean, it was close, but it wasn't that close. And you see the replay, you're like, oh my God, that's really close. I got scared.
Yeah,
I really
too.
did. I was like, oh shit.
Let's get in some of our YouTube chatters here. We've had some people commenting here. Tom Davis says we were starving in 2014. That was a crushing disappointment. Talking about the series loss to the Blackhawks. Then talking about the 2016 series, crappy goalie says it set in motion the Blackhawks' decline. So satisfying. That's true.
Yes.
We've got Curdy Wright here. Says, hey guys, I have a few questions, but I'm new here. So, Curdy Wright, thanks for joining us.
Long-time caller, first-time listener.
Yeah. He's got a couple questions that we're saying here, but we'll get to those. Don't worry, Kurt. Yeah, like Tom says, go ahead and ask them. They'll get to them. We will. Cat Church says Sonny is an artist. His favorite thing to draw is penalties. And then, we'll... Tom Davis, I guess, with answering questions, says wait till the beers kick in. Yeah, that's a good point. No whiskey tonight, Tom. Not like 2 weeks ago.
Who are Curdy Wright's question? I'm gonna guess that's not his name. That sounds
I don't
like
know, Curdy Wright's a pretty sweet name.
It is a pretty sweet name, but sounds like it was made just to talk on this show.
You think?
I think so. Who are the least likable Blues pages on Twitter? These guys, and then he says these guys probably won't even answer. Is no biggie.
I don't know, least likable Blues pages on Twitter. Where's Crest? Can we still say Crest?
Crest. Yeah, that's up there.
That guy was great.
I think Curdy Wright's fishing for an answer myself.
I think so too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
But
I don't think
yeah,
I don't think he's fooling anybody. He
that
thinks he's
J
a kid.
Ponder 94 guy is pretty fucking stupid.
Isn't he though?
So I wouldn't follow him.
Always
Yeah.
making comments
he's-
and stuff.
He's attractive, so it's worth it for that. But other than that, I wouldn't take a word he says.
I always forget the name of the account that really annoys me. I forget. I don't know. They're so irrelevant. I can't remember the names. Anyway, Blues Buzz. That's right, Blues Buzz. That's what it is.
All right, back to the fun stuff.
Yeah. And then the last one we got here is Marchand's stupid line change in Game 7 of the final. Which, that one's not really as unsung as the others because it's been talked about a lot. But it did have a huge part in Pietrangelo being left all alone to come in uncontested without a guy on his back. So, and score that goal. It was a huge goal to go up 2-0. Huge.
Yeah, it got so much play at the time,
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, yeah, it's absolutely a huge part that because of what happened 40 minutes later, that most of us just it's a side note in history. But as I was falling asleep last night, I put on the game recap for Game 7 because I want to
Nice.
fall asleep happy.
Yeah.
And I did the three wise men thing last night with the 3 shots of whiskey right before bed. So, yeah,
Nice.
Good call.
Went right to sleep.
I slept well. But they had on the recap that I watched, they had Don Cherry just completely tearing Marchand apart for making that line change. Like, who makes a line change with 7 seconds to go in the period? And who's going to let their guy, just blow by you and not take a stride? All he has to do is take 3 strides and cuts off that angle.
Think about
You-
that game when if that game goes in 1-0 at first intermission, that's a completely different second
Oh,
period.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that completely changed the complexion of the game. I mean, we've said this on the show. I think you all agree. When that goal went in, yes, it was still in the first period, but that was the first moment, I think, where all of St. Louis said, oh, my God, it's actually going to happen. This might actually happen.
I was actually laughing because we were outplayed badly in the first period. So bad. It was
Yeah.
the
It was the
Bennington
Bennington
lights
show.
It should have
out.
been 3-0
Yep.
Boston, and it was 2-0 us. I'm like, this is I didn't have words for it. It was just you get outplayed you, and then that late goal, not just to be up 2-0 when you're outplayed, but to get the late goal. So that's all they're thinking about going into the locker room. Boston was that late goal. It was late goals in a period that devastating to a team, especially in that situation. Good stuff.
Yeah, it was fun.
Thank you, Brad Marchand. Your tears made me happy.
Like
Tom
everyone's-
Davis echoes what he said. I think he was saying, "Yeah, we might win." That's what he put. Yeah, that was the. I mean, I literally yelled that when that puck went in the net. I grabbed my wife. I picked her up and I said, "Oh my God, we might actually win!" Like it was a crazy moment.
So the All-Star players that made the team that have been announced, and Perron was left off. So Pietrangelo, Bennington, and O'Reilly made it for the Blues. And there's a last men in thing that the NHL does, so you can vote in. Is it 4 more players, right?
Yeah, one from each
From each division. So you can vote 4 more players in, and Perron's on the list of those to be voted in, rightfully so. So you can do that now at nhl.com/vote, and you can vote up to 10 times per day through January 10th. And it's quite easy to do. You go in, you pick 4 players. Hopefully Perron's one of them, and you hit submit, and it says, "Do you want to submit the same players again?" Yes, submit, and you just hit submit 10 times. It's very easy. So go out and do that if you can.
So,
Yeah,
just
I'm shocked. Honestly, he did not make it. I mean, I get that he's not the name of some of these guys, but who is more deserving on this roster other than maybe Pietrangelo? Just and that's what this tournament is. This All-Star game, it is overtime hockey. Who is Mr. Overtime this year? David Perron.
Right. It fits his style of play perfectly. Mm-hmm. And I guess I get it to some degree because it's 3-on-3. But whatever. We'll do what we can to get him in the All-Star game.
I'm hoping that even if he doesn't get in last man in, that if there is an injury, that he's hopefully on the first replacement option. Like some people are already saying, if there's an injury, David Perron gets in because he's had an unbelievable year and he deserves it.
So, out of curiosity, who did y'all vote for besides David Perron?
Can I not? Let me see if I can. I
can't remember.
I voted for Oshie. Who else did I vote for? Oshie Perron. Shoot. Let me log.
I gotta look again.
Yeah, I'm trying to. All I'm getting is, sorry, you've reached your 10 ballot limit
Yeah, I know.
for today.
All right, hang on.
Yeah,
I
so
got
you
mine
gotta
here.
log out. Damn it.
All right, so I've got. Let's see. I went JG Peugeot. Just because I think he's had a really good year. Oshie, Perron, and who was the last one? Oh, Clayton Keller, St. Louis boy.
Yep.
That'd have been a good one. Okay.
I went Keller, Oshie. I think I went Teuvo Teravainen. And who? I definitely did not go with Max Domi because even though he's Canadian, I can't stand him. And then, so what division am I missing? I'm missing the Metro, right? Yeah.
You got Teravainen, Foligno, Hersher, Nelson, Zunabad, Giroux, Letang, Oshie.
No, so it's the Atlantic that I'm missing.
And you got Bergeron, Dahlin, Larkin, Barkov, Domi, Peugeot, Stamkos, and Marner. I did Barkov, Oshie, Perron, and Pacioretty. Those are mine.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I mean Keller. Maybe I don't know. I feel like everyone on that list is deserving, except for, man, I gotta say, I get the name recognition, but Jamie Benn and Jonathan Taves, that was
bad.
Those were kind of shockers to see on there. Like, really, they haven't had that great of a year.
Ben's a minus player, and he's got 20 points. Come on.
You could have picked another player from the Stars that would have been more deserving.
It Taves my. I didn't even. I guess I overlooked Keller. That'd be not that he's having statistically a great season. It's just it'd be nice.
It'd be fun to see. Matthew Tkachuk. Did you guys hear Matthew Tkachuk talk about how excited he is to play in front of his home fans? I mean, it'd be cool to see Clayton Keller do the same thing.
Wait a second. Are you telling me that Tkachuk got in and Doughty didn't?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I mean,
I would love to see them play on the same team.
According to Doughty, Tkachuk is not as good as he is. Granted, they play a different position, but still. Doughty's such a it's full of. It's a piece
I'd
of
love
shit.
to see them play on the same team, and it really makes you wonder if Doughty would actually pass to Tkachuk.
It's almost like he's a childhood keyboard warrior stupid stuff going on with Doughty and Tkachuk. I don't get that at all. It's just shut up and play. Oh my God, it's just baby stuff. Stump.
Compliment here from John Buring for you. Kurt says college hockey epic hat. That is a good hat.
Thank you. I enjoy it.
And Curdy Wright says, I like all the hockey players, though they are good. Awesome. I'm a little confused by that comment.
He just wants to see Oshie back, too. Which,
okay.
that's why, I voted for Oshie. That's, just because I want to see him back in. Yeah,
and
fun.
he showed love for the Blues last year, saying that he was rooting for him in the playoffs. And look at the numbers. He's had a great season for Washington, so he's deserving as well.
he's a good player. He's it's just fun to watch. I mean, his goal against who was it? Boston? Was it that he splits the D and then goes top shelf? Was on Rask? Was it Boston? I think it was Boston.
Sounds right.
I think it was
Somebody
Boston.
in yellow. It was Boston or Pittsburgh.
I think it was Boston.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, it was. I mean, whoever. I mean, that was a
Cleveland Barons.
highlight reel
maybe.
goal. It might be the goal of the year. One of them. So yeah, do that. Get Perron in. The Winter
Yeah, make
Classic.
sure you get him in because, as you said, he wants to be there too.
He does.
So,
He said in Twitter, he goes, "Of course, it would be an honor." When asked if he wanted to actually play or have time off, which what player's going to? I mean, besides from Ovechkin and a few others, they just say they don't want to play. He goes, and he's never played in one before. I said, "Of course, it would be an honor. Nothing more I would want than being in front of Blues fans for this event and to bring my kids with me. Thanks." So sure.
Ryan McDowell wants to know where he can get that hat.
I got mine online. I think it was.
Doesn't he have an online store?
Yeah, ButchieOT
He does.
Challenge.com.
He does. You can get different colors and stuff. And I don't think I got. I think I got mine on eBay from a reseller on eBay, something like that. But yeah, you if you look for Butchergrass, what is it?
Overtime Challenge.
Overtime Challenge. Right. But what's the website? The URL?
I thought it was ButchieOTChallenge.com, but I'm sure if you go to his Twitter profile, it's
in
there.
I don't think. Maybe it's Butchie OT Challenge. I don't think it is. I'm not seeing it come up.
I haven't seen it
No,
in a while.
it's not.
Butchergrass
But-
Overtime Challenge College. Okay.
Bill, there's also questions about your hat.
More beer.
Oh, Bill's gone. Bill,
Butchie.
there's
Butchie
questions about your hat, buddy.
Oh, my hat?
Butchie OT. That's what it's. BUCCIOT. Actually, .myshopify.com.
Oh, he didn't even buy the full web address.
Well, he's
Come
got a.
on.
I mean, he might. It may be a redirect, but he's yeah, it's BUCCIOT.myshopify.com.
I am posting it in the YouTube chat as we speak.
Yep. Also, GoBarDown.com has them for sale too. There you go. The Winter Classic was today at the Cotton Bowl in Texas. Dallas beat the Predators 4-2. Nashville blew a 2-0 lead in the game, which was fun to see. Corey Perry dished out an elbow to Ryan Ellis just a couple minutes into the game. I think it was Perry's first shift, even.
Yeah, it was.
So
He was ejected?
he was ejected.
First ejection in a Winter Classic, Corey Perry.
Did you guys
Not
feel like
surprised.
it took way too long for them to review that? Like, they spent a good while reviewing that before ejecting him. And I get they want to get it right, but it's like very first play. I mean, again, I know it's Corey Perry, so our first thought is, well, yeah, that's dirty. But my God, it took him forever. I'm like, watching that in real time, I know he needs to be gone. Good Lord.
Yeah, I didn't turn the game on until later in the first period, so I didn't see it live. But I saw the replays, plenty of them.
Yeah, they reviewed it for a while, and I'm like, come on, this isn't obvious. Like, let him go. Get him out of here.
Yep. Ejected him. He had to take the very, very long walk of shame. And he's
Which is
been
hilarious.
summoned for a hearing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep, and Ryan Ellis did not play the rest of the game either, and that's a huge loss for Nashville.
It is.
Must have been a hell of an elbow to get through that beard.
Although,
I mean,
was it
I
last
hate
year?
to say it.
Was it last year, Jeff, when Ellis was hurt for half the season? It seemed like.
Yeah, something like that.
Nashville played really well without him.
Yeah, but they did lose what is he considered in my book a depth defenseman in PK Subban. They did have him last year as well,
Yeah.
but
True.
but
True.
still,
Yeah, their defensive depth is very lacking this year. It's very apparent.
yeah. Yeah, it's no, and I will say, like, I know that we like to hate on Nashville here, but how bad does that suck for Ryan Ellis? Not only did he get hurt, but you literally played 1 to 2 shifts of the Winter Classic, something I'm sure the Predators were actually looking forward to because they've never done one before. So that kind of sucks.
Yep.
And what is it? It wasn't Eddie Olczyk that said you got to feel bad for Perry here. Really? You do? Why do we have to feel bad for Perry?
I guess he meant in the sense where that he's his first shift, he gets kicked out.
Yeah, but he does.
You know what? Okay,
Stop breaking the law, asshole.
okay. So let's talk about this, because I don't care to talk about much of anything else with the game, but I don't think he did it on purpose. I don't think it was I don't think he meant to elbow him in the head. Based on, I mean, unless he's just a really good actor and quick to react that way right after the fact. I just don't see him elbowing a guy in the head on purpose his first shift into a Winter Classic game. That doesn't compute for me. I think, I mean, absolutely a penalty and kick him out. That's fine, but I don't see him getting suspended. Do you think he'll get suspended? Like any length of time for this?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
I do. I think he gets at least one game. They're going to take into account that he basically lost this entire game, so I think they'll give him one more.
I don't. I think they're going to treat the Winter Classic like a playoff game, and since suspensions are cut in half in the playoffs, I think if they think he deserves any suspension time, they'll deem the Winter Classic game as essentially 2 regular season games, and that.
I don't know. I feel like it's.
I don't think he deserves a suspension at all. But that's me.
I feel like they're going to look at this the opposite way. The fact that it was nationally televised, the first game on KSDK or NBC of the year, and that's how you're going to lead off. I mean, we all know that the NHL is trying to get rid of this stuff. So Corey Perry's not the all-star player he was once, so I could see them using him as an example.
Was it an in-person hearing he's having?
No, it's just a hearing.
They didn't say phone or.
Could just be a fine too. Then
Yeah, I know. If it's just a phone, it might just it's probably just a fine.
It just says he'll have a hearing Friday. So that's 2 days. So maybe it does. I think they usually specify though when it's in person.
Yeah.
And this time they didn't. So
yeah, I just don't see it. I mean,
I hate Corey Perry.
I do too.
As
Can't
a
stand
hockey
him.
player.
Hate
Like
him.
he's a dirty player.
Yes.
My personal opinion is that he'll get two games.
Okay.
Just
John
So Bill's at 2,
Buring.
Jeff, you're at 1,
He's-
and I'm at none.
John Buring adds he's going to get more than one, which is possible. I'm going to go one game. I think he's going to get one. Because like I said, I think they're going to take into account that he basically lost this entire game as well. But honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if, since he's a repeat offender, they'd go 3 or 4 games.
Repeat offenders do not get the benefit of the doubt. Well, sure they do. It's ridiculous to imply that the Winter Classic is the same as a playoff game. I didn't say it was the same in terms of it's
The weight.
What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that the Winter Classic, there's more importance placed on the Winter Classic than a regular season game. It is. It's not. I mean, obviously, no. It's not it's not a playoff game, but it's. I can totally see that. Them saying, well, he missed the entire game more or less minus 1 shift. Then that's suspension enough. Even though I don't. I mean, if they're going to suspend him, I don't think they're going to, because I don't think it was on purpose. I don't think it was.
Todd Kuhlman says 2 or 3 games. Tom Davis says 2 games minimum. Tom Davis, that's a great point. Since he started, he got paid. So that is a good point. That was not without pay.
Right, so fine him.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the play developed like this. I think he's trying to get over and either disrupt Ellis's shot. He gets there late, and he tries to get a piece of himself on Ellis, and he caught his head. I think it was. I don't think it was dirty in a sense where it was on purpose, malicious, like he was going after his head. I don't think it was like that. But It could have been. I mean, Corey Perry is not a clean player, so I mean, he maybe he knew what he was doing the whole time. But I think if he knew what he was doing the whole time, and he throws an elbow at a head his first shift into the Winter Classic, I mean, he's not just a dirty player; he's stupid.
There may be something to him just getting fined, because if you look, like, one of the few tweet alerts I have set up is NHL player safety, and they're basically 4 out of every 5 disciplinary action they undertake now is fine over suspension. So,
well, I mean,
Pajot 2,500 for roughing Malkin 5,000 for high sticking Pajot. Robbie Fabry, 24-19-35, maximum allowable under the CBA for spearing. Samuel Girard, 1957-89, maximum allowable for boarding DeBrincat. It just, 4 out of 5 disciplinary actions are fines. So,
And again, I'm with Tom
possible.
Davis. He adds looked incidental, but he is a repeat offender, and I think the NHL before, it seems like they go back and forth on that. But when 'cause, there's been times where we've seen like, well, he's a repeat offender, so he's going to get this. But then you see a repeat offender do something, and it's, we're just going to fine him. What the hell? How come the other repeat offender got more? But I will say that I do think that they will take into account he's a repeat offender. And again, I think them seeing that this was on a nationally broadcast game, a game that's one of their biggest ones of the year, I could see them throwing the book at him and giving him at least a game or two.
So so he's had 2 previous suspensions, at least 2 previous suspensions, including
How long
one
ago?
for elbowing.
how long ago matters?
So 20. So
Yeah,
it's been
was
a
it
while.
3
It's been
years?
13. So it's 6
Okay.
years.
So that so
Seven-
so
yeah.
so if it's
almost 7
so
years.
he's not a repeat offender then, because that's longer.
It falls
than,
off after
it falls
what,
off.
3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the exact. Yeah, it falls off. If he's 6 or 7 years ago, then this incident does not qualify as him being a repeat offender. So
Yeah, he
well.
elbowed
At least last I heard.
Giroux in 2009, and wait. He was suspended in 2016 as well.
okay,
But that's January. That's 4 years.
yeah, okay. So Tom Davis says not just a repeat offender; he's a big time repeat offender. Depending on whatever the fall off is, if it happened longer than, was it 3 or 4 years ago, then he's not technically a repeat offender in the eyes of the NHL as far as suspensions go.
And his last one was 2013. It just, for whatever reason, this got posted in 2016.
Oh,
This video. So
okay. So I'll go back to I don't.
It's he.
You know what?
He's a repeat offender, but not under the letter of the law.
Right. It's not going to affect his. It's like if you get it's like your court supervision, getting a ticket. If it's been a couple of years since your last ticket.
Successfully served his probation.
Yes. He's yes. So I mean, maybe he does get a suspension, but I don't know. We'll see. I hope he does, because I don't like the guy.
No.
I'd love to see him get suspended, but I don't think he will. We'll see. And I will not bet on it. Because if you bet on the player safety, NHL, you're crazy.
We'll see what happens next week when one of us will be saying, "I told you so."
The 8-game winning streak came to an end versus Arizona last night. The Blues would have taken over best record in the NHL with a win because Washington had lost earlier in the day yesterday. Blues lost this game 3-1 though. Ante Ratna was pretty good in this game, stopping 38 of 39. Allen was good too, stopping 23-25. This is now the second time this season Arizona has stopped a Blues winning streak. The first time was a 7-game win streak back in November, and now this one is an 8-game win streak in December. So do we play them again in January? Because I think we may have a 9-game winning streak at the time, if that's the case.
Yeah, all I can say is at this point, I'm confident with the Blues going against anybody in the Western Conference in the playoffs, except the Arizona Coyotes. I don't know what it is. They just play a structure that kind of deadens what the Blues do well. They have quick outs of their zone, I guess, is a big thing. So the Blues can't go in and forecheck them quickly, and it's just it's just a problem. The Blues never look good against them.
I didn't. I mean, I thought the Blues played a decent game. I didn't think they played poorly. I think
They played okay.
They played. There were a number. I noticed far too often though a lot of their quick transition passes through the neutral zone just were a little off. The game plan was there. They had the right idea. The players were open, but they were just a little off on the passes. That led to a lot of turnovers, or plays that didn't develop the way they'd hoped. And I mean they outshot the Coyotes. What was it 39-26? They put a lot on net. 18-8 in the second period. That was when the two-man advantage happened, which 5-on-3 is now. It's been December 6th, 2016. Last time the Blues scored on a 5-on-3 or a two-man advantage. So I'm not sure if we'll ever get another 5-on-3 goal.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Jeez.
I'm at this point believing that when the referees give a 5-on-3 to the Blues, that's a giant middle finger. Ha! We're going to make sure you guys don't score here.
Well, Blues need to do something to change it up, like take a penalty to nullify the 5-on-3. Go for it.
Yeah, just get Perron out there. He'll take a penalty.
You know what's so weird about the 5-on-3 is the Blues don't look good. It's not that they're just getting they're getting stoned. They just don't look like they know what they're doing on a 5-on-3. The players don't move as much as you think they should be. They're I don't know.
They get stale. Did you watch the 5-on-3 that the Predators got in the first period of the game today?
No.
Nashville's known for having power play struggles, but they had a 5-on-3, and it was constant puck movement. Guys were cycling. It wasn't just stagnant where the two guys remain up top and three guys bottom. It was that sounds like a porn movie, but they were always in motion. The puck was always moving. There wasn't any fake shot. Stick up. I'm going to slap it. Nope, I'm going to pass it. It was just constant puck movement the entire time. Kept Bishop moving in the crease. Got the Stars defense to kind of react rather than play their position. And you don't see that with the Blues. It's a shame because their power play's gotten a lot better this year, but they still just don't look right 5-on-3.
And I assume they don't practice 5-on-3. Didn't I hear that one time? They don't practice 5-on-3?
They got it every now and then, right?
I don't think so.
Well, they should.
I don't think they happen enough to waste practice time on it.
Specializing that.
Yeah, I don't. I thought I heard that one time they don't practice 5-on-3s.
It's probably like practicing the shootout at this point. You really don't have to do it that much.
Mike Keenan didn't practice the power play for a while at all. Remember that?
Yeah,
the Blues had power play struggles.
You don't have to.
The Blues had power play struggles, and he didn't practice the power play. And I think his excuse was, they're professionals; they know what they're doing.
Yeah, well, that might be true. Also, I'm sure putting Harry York on your power play in the line right now and then didn't help.
Roller hockey
no offense, Harry.
International superstar, Harry York.
That's true. That is true. We got a bunch of questions here, guys. Sorry, we can't really get to them all the time, but Patty Blast, I saw yours. We'll get to you later. We've got, where did I see? Our friend Austin Lynch, I know, commented. Said he's sorry he's late. You don't have to apologize, Austin. It's fine. Show does go on without you. I know it's hard to, but we do make it happen. And Ryan McDonald says, will you guys open up for questions later? Keep firing them at us. We'll try to remember to get to them. It's just, like I said, kind of lot to talk about here at the Blues. Tom Davis says Coyote goalie was pretty good.
It's very good.
Austin asked, have we mentioned next year's Winter Classic yet? We have not. We will. Yeah, Harry York is a funny name from Curdy, right? Well, Harry's just a funny name, so I'm with you. It took only 43 minutes for a Mike Keenan reference.
Yeah, that's a new record. That's a new state record. A lot of ticky-tack penalties in this game, too. A couple of awful calls, both sides.
Terrible calls.
Especially the one on Ranta where they called him for tripping Schwartz, where he just stuck out his hand and on like Schwartz's hip. And I think Schwartz went down. It was had nothing to do with Ranta, and of course Ranta gets a penalty.
Well, the Barbashev call.
Yeah, that was.
I mean,
and the giving him the minor for complaining about how bad it was. God.
Well, I said this on Twitter, and I talked to a referee about this. That a lot of times, he hasn't done it professionally, but he does it in the leagues around here in St. Louis, some of the more competitive ones. And he says a lot of times he knows guys that when they make a bad call and they know it right away, if the player adds to it and bitches, the instant reaction is, "Oh, I got to penalize him," because it's an instant defensive mechanism kind of thing. So I guarantee that's exactly what happened. Was that he knew right away that wasn't a good call. Barbashev reacted, and it just pissed him off. And he said, "All right, get in the box for 2 more minutes." I mean, not justifying it because my God, that was egregious.
Arizona was 2 for 4 on the power play, so they didn't seem to have the troubles the Blues did. The Blues were 0 for 4 overall in the game in the power play, so they not only do they miss on the 5-on-3, they missed on the other 3 opportunities as well. Not hard to see what the difference in this game was. Ranta was excellent, and the Blues couldn't score on the power play. So that was in a nutshell. That was it. Thoughts on the De La Rose boarding penalty? At the 2.5 left, something like that. 2-3 minutes left. What happened?
I don't even recall it.
I remember it, but I'm not. A little fuzzy.
Okay. Well, he's approaches a player who's near the boards, a few feet off the boards, and was it who was it? Was it oh shoot.
Oleg Tverdovsky.
No, but he's got the puck. He right before De La Rose gets to him, he cuts left towards the boards, and De La Rose. I thought, I'm not trying to make excuses for De La Rose here. De La Rose had already committed to the hit, and then so God damn it, what's his name?
I remember
Kessel.
the play.
Kessel.
Yeah,
Kessel. I think it was Kessel. So he basically De La Rose commits to the hit. Kessel cuts back to his left, and De La Rose hits him from behind, and then he goes into the boards, and it's a penalty, and it is a boarding penalty. I mean, it's just kind of a rough one to take because while it's a penalty, De La Rose didn't really do anything wrong. I mean, while he hit him from behind on the boards, it's not De La Rose's necessarily his fault that happened. You know what I mean? Because I mean, Kessel cuts left at the last second, and what's De La Rose supposed to do? I'm not saying he shouldn't have been penalized. He should have, but
the way that I look at this type of play is the same way like when you see a defenseman reach his stick into a guy to poke the puck away, and the guy steps on his stick, falls, and they call it tripping.
Yeah.
Obviously, really not a lot the defenseman can do there, but that's just how the game goes. Until you get robots making calls, that's just how it's going to be, and I think that's one of those where you just see it in real time and you just say, I got to call that. That's a board.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, that's how it is. But I agree with you. If you slow it down and you watch it, you see it is clearly nothing De La Rose can do. He's already committed. But unfortunately, the way the ref sees it in real time, they're going to have to make that call. But I see your point. Kurt, you're right. All right, that's what you were looking for, right?
No.
You are correct.
So I mean, I know
Bill, pat him on the back.
The stakes are a hell of a lot lower. Mid-season game, in Phoenix, non-division game, not like the Stanley Cup final with Sundqvist hitting Grzelcyk. But Sungfist I thought was committed to the hit. I'm not to piss off Bruins fans that might be listening, but I still
always
don't
pissed
think
off.
that was worthy of a suspension at the time. And I think this is. I don't really recall this from the game, but it sounds very similar. It's the player, not to victim blame, but from what you're saying, Kessel shifted at the last second. There's nothing, he's committed to the hit. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
and
I
it just,
get it.
there's no injury, there's results, so there's no talk of suspension. And,
Right, and that's the thing too,
know.
is that's what's typically brought up onboarding calls that are reviewed by the league, whether or not so and so turned into the hit, or if so and so was already committed to the hit when before the player was as vulnerable. That's all taken into consideration, and I think my point is that it's a penalty, but it shouldn't be go any farther than that. And it's an unfortunate penalty. It's just kind of weird the way it works. It's like a high stick. It's like a high stick that hits you in the face. If it cuts you, it's 4 minutes. That's a weird, arbitrary thing to, because you can get smacked pretty good with a stick hard in the head, and if it not cuts you, and it could swell up, and you can get grazed with the blade of the stick, and it can cut you, and you get 4 minutes.
Right. That is a bit weird.
It's weird.
When you put it in the context of they're really worried about concussions in the NHL. Concussion's an injury, but because you draw blood, it's visible.
Right.
Like it is an arbitrary thing.
Yeah, because you're not. Yeah, I mean, and we accept it because that's the way it is, and it's so funny when one player on your team gets high sticked, you're rooting for blood.
Yeah.
You're rooting for your own player to be bleeding, so you can get an extra 2 minutes on the power play. Whatever. Blues outshot the Coyotes 39-26, 18-8 in the second period. Like I said, out hit them 31-18. Won the faceoff battle 56% to 44. Won the giveaway battle. They played a decent game, not their best. They numbers wise, box score wise, if you didn't see the score, you think the Blues have won, but they did not. So
Right. No, I thought both goalies were great in this game.
Yes.
Ranta has really, he's kind of, looks like he's taken the reins back over as the number one from Darcy Kemper, who was on quite a run for a while.
and he looked great against us
The
last time we played him.
Yeah. But Jake Allen, this game definitely wasn't his fault. I mean, here's a tip on the game-winning goal. Maybe you don't want to try to rush two defensemen out of the zone when Phil Kessel's behind you, which is what happened. Petro and Falk both tried to jump the zone to, and I get why they're doing it. They're, it's a 1-1 game at the time, and you're trying to get your team, the spark from the back end, but you got one of the best snipers in the game behind you, and puck turned over at the blue line, and Kessel's all alone.
Did the ice seem rather bad to you guys? It seemed the puck seemed to be bouncing, flipping, not laying flat.
I don't think it was particularly bad, but I will say the ice in Dallas today at the Cotton Bowl I thought looked better than what we saw in Arizona.
Well, and I hesitate to criticize the ice because it seemed like especially late November, early December, the ice at Enterprise Center was just god awful. The puck would not sit still for like a series of 10 games. It just didn't make any sense.
The Blues at the end of 2019, the best record in the West, a pretty substantial 8-point lead on second place Colorado. Their goal differential is at +21, which, thanks to the 8-game win streak, had climbed up from single digits just not too long ago. 13-4-3 at home, 13-5-3 on the road, 8-2-0 in their last 10. Best record in the NHL in the calendar year of 2019. And I think we mentioned on the show before, the most points or most wins in the decade. Isn't that what it was?
I think they tied. Well, for the year they tied.
No. I'm talking last decade. I'm talking maybe it was the last 8 years. I looked it up. I posted on Twitter. It was the Blues had the most points. I think it was most points in the Western Conference in the last, I think, 8 seasons. No. It was at least 10 seasons. Pretty sure. Pretty sure. It's up there anyway.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
I know that they tied the calendar year of 2019. If they would have won against the Coyotes, they would have had the most wins in a calendar year. But I think they tied it. What was it, 2000 or 2001? They said.
Yes, I think so. The President's Trophy, half that season.
Did that include playoffs? I didn't see that.
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Well, I can tell you what. I know that in 2019 they had the most playoff wins more than any other year they've had. Right? We can all agree on that.
This past one, sure.
Yeah.
And
I may have to go back and look that up, but I think you're right.
the most that they will ever get until the NHL expands to 56.
They'll tie it again this year.
Yeah, I think they have a good chance of tying it this year.
I can't. I mean, that would be.
We'll see.
That'd be cool.
We're getting ahead.
I'll add too. I mean, we talked about this a lot going into 2019. I want to do the numbers. I might actually sit down and do this tomorrow. I'll have it for our next show. But how bad were the Blues in 2018? They were awful, because remember, 2017, 2018, that was the year where they were in first place in December and then completely bottomed out and didn't make the playoffs. They started 2018,
Right.
2019 as the worst team in the NHL. And then 2019, early to mid-January, they picked it up. And that's when they started winning all the time. So you look at the dichotomy between 2018 and 2019, it's pretty insane.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's hope we don't get a similar dichotomy for the new year.
Yeah, let's hope not.
Oh yeah, what happened? Oh my God, I just kind of thought of that. The last calendar year change.
Yeah,
It was a big deal. So hopefully it's not a big deal the other direction this time. I can't see that happening though.
No.
Up next for the Blues, we got at Colorado tomorrow night, Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Central Time. A win versus Colorado would give the Blues a 10-point lead over them, whom many felt were the best team in the West just a few weeks ago. The infamous, was it NBCSN Power Rankings?
Yep.
Yep. We just beat Colorado twice. Just won, I don't know what it is. We're beating them in the division, in the conference. And
they were ranked 4th.
Yeah, Blues were ranked 4th. Avalanche was ranked 1st, I think. Weren't they? They were ahead of us.
Yeah.
They were ahead of us. Whatever it was.
Suffice to say.
Yes. Not cool. Avalanche have cooled off since the last time the Blues faced them and beat them. They're 4-5-1 in the last 10. Lost 3 in a row and 5 of the last 6. Grubauer has lost 5 straight games. While
It's not like you called him Gruber at first.
Right.
Like McGruber.
Gruber. While how do you say his last name?
Francouz.
Francouz has gone. I was going to say Francois. Has gone 7-1-1 in his last.
Francouz.
In his last 9.
Or Francouz.
So who do you think's in net against us? Yeah?
Pavel.
I think it's
Pavel Frankie.
Ooh. I don't
'Cause
know. David
Grubauer's-
Abisher?
Because Grubauer's not playing particularly well, and I mean,
I'd go with Francouz. Who's getting you wins? I mean, we have this debate all the time here as Blues fans.
I know
Who's getting you wins right now? Put that guy in.
Yeah, who gives you the best chance to win right now? And that's probably Francouz, right? So, I we'll see. But he's started quite a few games this year so far.
Speaking of goalies getting wins, did you guys see that Elvis Merzlikins in Columbus finally got his first win, and he's been playing all year.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah, he played preseason games the last 2 years at least against the Blues. I think he got one regular season start against them last year, but that's a long time coming.
Yeah, he's been their backup, and he was kind of the guy they thought, okay, we're going to have Korpisalo for most of this year, but by next year, Merzlikins is going to step in as the number 1. don't think that's the case anymore. Unless he
Puck,
just tears it up the rest of the year.
Puck Guy 14 in the YouTube chat. Hey Eric, Happy New Year, sir. Says Grubauer is a goober? Question mark. I'm like, he's playing. He's kind of playing like one.
Grubauer reminds me a lot of Jarl Halak.
Yeah,
That he was really good as the backup and needed a change of scenery. He gets the change of scenery and things don't work out.
I wanted the Blues to
And
go after
stature
Grubauer.
wise, yeah,
I
stature-wise,
wanted him
think they
too.
look a lot alike.
When- Yeah.
Yeah, I was with you, Kurt. I think we talked about that on this show.
Yeah.
That Grubauer should have been the Blues' number one guy to go after the year he got traded.
And who knows, in this system, maybe he plays better and differently. But I would, well, because we had Allen, right? So
Yeah.
that was going into last season. So I was like, I'd rather have Grubauer. Can we move Allen and acquire Grubauer?
Yeah,
But
back when Bennington was still our inside joke.
yeah, Nathan McKinnon has 6 points in his last 6 games, but he's also a -10 over that span. So he's putting up some points, but his team is allowing some goals too.
That line is still one to watch.
Oh, God,
They're still unbelievable.
He scares me so much. He's maybe more so than anybody in the league. In the offensive zone when he's got the puck,
Yep.
it's like he's possessed.
Him and McDavid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it used to be with McKinnon that it was, he would find that spot between the face-off dot and the boards and just bury one-timers.
Wasn't it 2 games in a row we played him
Yeah.
that he tied it late or beat us?
Yeah,
Something like that late in the
Exact
game.
same spot.
Yeah.
But the last few times he's had screenshots through the slot that have beaten our goalies. So
Yeah, he had one that was from almost the blue line last time.
yeah,
Curdy Wright says, guys, got to get off, but thank you, Tom. I'm happy to meet you, and maybe I can come back if you guys let me, but if not, I understand. Curdy, you're always welcome back, buddy.
And, anybody is welcome in the chat. More the more folks, the better.
And anyone who's probably somehow trolling Kurt, you are
Yeah.
100% okay in my book.
I saw that name. I'm like, that's somebody I've interacted with before on Twitter or something, and it's
Good for you, Curdy. Please show up every
yeah,
week.
it's looking like a troll job to me, but no, maybe not. We'll see. Maybe it's an interesting name. If it is your real name, then I okay. I'll stop there.
Get a couple more. Let's see. Squirrely Dan says he'd love to see a Winter Classic in Columbus, mainly so I can walk to it from campus. So yeah, that. Hey, you know what? Columbus is a lot of Blues fans make that drive, so I think that would be a really well attended Winter Classic for Blues fans as well.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. We didn't talk about the Winter Classic next year. We can do it real
Yeah,
quick.
let's talk about it.
Just real quick, because we should wrap this up. But it was announced today that the Winter Classic is going to be in Minnesota at the Cotton Bowl. Not at
Kind
the
of a
Cotton Bowl.
unkept
At the
Target
Target
Field.
Field. Cotton Bowl was this year. Target Field. So, and rumor, the Blues are involved with rumors as far as who they're going to play. Some people seem to think the Blues are the front runners. I've heard someone say Chicago, which would be ridiculous. It's always Chicago.
You know that even Chicago. I mean, we talked about this. Chicago fans are like, please no.
I know. Which brings me to the question: who wants Chicago in this game, aside from NHL bigwigs? Because if the fans don't, Chicago fans, most of them, I would say, don't. Most Chicago fans, or at least half, right? And then there's probably not as many fans at all elsewhere in the league, fans of other teams that want the Blackhawks in. So you're talking about a small segment of a large fan base, but still a small segment that might want them in the game. I guess people watch on TV if the Hawks play because the only reason they would be in it was be for ratings. And would they get those ratings? I guess they would because of the Hawks, but still, they're terrible.
People would tune in, but you know that Blackhawks fans, they're not happy with it. And I get that they don't care. All they care about are the numbers. But, man, you'd think that the NHL would listen and say, okay, you know what, let's there's there's 29 other teams we could throw in here who would be a good fit to play Minnesota. And I know that Winnipeg is a Canadian market, and they don't like throwing in the Canadian markets, but I think that'd be a great one. Winnipeg, Minnesota, St. Louis, Minnesota, Dallas. I wish they would have had Dallas, Minnesota,
yes,
but they're not going to do them 2 years in a row.
It should have been Dallas. It should have been Dallas. I mean, and Nashville deserves to be in the game. I get it. That's fine. But it could have been Nashville. And you know what? It could have been Dallas and Minnesota this year, Nashville and St. Louis next year.
It really makes me wonder if they're going to go with the Central team. That'd be 2 Central Division Winter Classics in a row.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
And that's crazy to think about for the NHL with how much they have to promote the same 6 teams.
Yeah, something tells me it's got to be either Pittsburgh or Boston. Just 'cause they need to go back to the well.
Where's the? I mean,
There's no rivalry.
I know they don't really hinge on that anymore, but
I mean, there was no rivalry
There's gotta be
between
s-
Boston and Chicago last year.
well, their original 6 teams. so
Pittsburgh and
they can
Chicago a
market
couple
that.
years too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they can market that. Yeah,
Puck Guy 14, besides Adidas, is out of ideas for throwback Hawks Winter Classic jerseys.
I know, right?
Yeah, the last ones were just like, really,
Black.
I mean, just terrible.
Yeah,
Oh, if you ask the NHL, though, it's one of the best.
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Blues don't get a mention. Whatever. I'd love to see the Blues in it again. That'd be fine. As a guest this time. But
I think it'd be cool. Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
love it.
fun.
It was fun seeing him at Busch, but seeing him as the away team, that would be the road to the Winter Classic to watch that. I think that would be a little fun. I'd enjoyed it.
I think just getting Berube on there, that would be a ton of fun. I mean, that was going back to watch the whole Gunnarsson taking a piss thing, last night. God, that was so much fun. So yeah, get Berube on Road to the Winter Classic. That'd be a beauty.
Curdy Wright in the YouTube chat says, my last name is Kurt Wright. It's kind of a play on words. Oh, there you go. Okay. Fair enough.
Says Kurt is a good name.
Fair enough. Good on you. I agree. It is a good name. Good on you. All right.
It's okay.
So while we're on the subject of the Winter Classic, Wyshynski says if he were a betting man, he'd say Blues.
Oh,
Yeah.
see? There you go.
And
Someone-
Tom Davis, by next year, the Blues will be America's team. I wish that were true, but I don't feel that's actually
No,
going to be the case.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The Blues do get very good ratings, better than most teams when they play nationally. So I mean, I don't think the NHL would be concerned with ratings with the Blues and the Wild being in the game. So that's not something to be concerned about. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, it'll be fun.
I like Todd Kuhlman, Wild and Wings.
Wild and Wings. Yeah.
But you got to
Uh.
work Buffalo in there somehow, too. Like, they could play the game in Buffalo, and it could be the Wild and the Wings.
Or by this point next year, as far as NHL talent goes, you might have to splice Buffalo and Detroit together to get a full
God.
NHL roster.
Yeah, that's true. They got Sabotka. They're good.
Right. Oh.
Real quick, we did early in the show, and I said I would get to it. We did get a quick question from, now I can't find it. Somebody asked what our thoughts on here it is, Patty Bast. What about John Tortorella's rant and fine? What do you guys think about that whole situation?
Yeah. I'm in the camp I think most people are in. I can't stand Tortorella, but I enjoy his comments.
Yeah.
I think they're entertaining and they're funny. But a lot of truth to them. They were hosed.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
Oh, they were
were
totally hosed.
completely hosed. And I have
Yeah.
I mean, if Berube were to go off like after the game, I'd love it. This particular case, on a case-by-case basis with Tortorella, I think it was just him just going off, rightfully so, and he was pissed off, and his rant was justified, I think. I mean, I think he was fined. So
Yeah, he got fined and
$20,000.
Yeah.
The,
Like he
the,
cares.
the one comment I saw earlier today on Twitter was, I hope he pays it all in quarters.
now that I mean, I'm 100% with you, Kurt. I don't truly strongly dislike Tortorella. I'm not his biggest fan, but you know, he's always proven to be a pretty decent coach. You know, short term, you keep a guy like him around 3-4 years, he usually gets results out of your team. But man, I mean, I saw this. They're literally, not only did they lose the game, they lost a goalie because of the terrible call. I mean, he had every right to go off on the officials for that.
Yeah.
You want to talk about getting replay right? Get it fucking right. I mean, we've said this since they started with replay. If you're going to have replay, you better be getting 100% of this shit right. If it starts getting wrong, like all this goalie interference shit, get rid of it. Don't even have it. So I'm with Tortorella. It's bullshit that happened to his team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how how many sports and leagues are trying to adopt video review as part of their of the overall process, and they want to do it slowly, and they get so much wrong. I mean, the constant, like, I watch a lot of soccer nowadays, and the constant Premier League bitching about VAR, it's the same thing. Like, you're using it to get it right, but you have these narrowly defined rules. A clear and obvious error, what the fuck does that mean? You know, if the referee doesn't know, if they're not applying the law correctly, correct them on it. And that seems to be missed by the leagues that are instituting these things, because they're too slow to, they don't want to make these giant shifts as they get into this. But just do it, get it right. Just like Jeff said, get it fucking right.
You think there's more controversy now since they've been doing replay than before when they didn't have replay? About as far
Hard
as
to say if there's more, but I don't know if it's
different.
more, but I think it's more frustrating.
Because they're supposed to get it right.
Right.
If you're going to have replay and slow down the game, like I said, today, the Corey Perry thing, I get that you want to make sure you get that right, but Jesus, let's just get along with the game. I mean, we've said before, there should be a time limit on replays. There should be, well, if you see 3 replays and you don't see what you want to see, then obviously just stick to the call on the ice. Whatever you need to do to make it.
We did
I mean,
that.
we talk about the Laterra play. Was that 16 playoffs?
Oh my God,
16.
That took forever.
I mean, the skate on the
offside.
ice, it took forever. And yes, maybe that call is correct, but to slow down the pace of the game just to do that, it's more frustrating than anything.
Yeah, I think you get a time limit, and after that, the replay iPads shut off. That's all they get.
I agree.
And then it's like, okay, what's the decision? Well, the problem is that they're talking with Toronto, and Toronto's looking at it too, and so it's we've talked about this a lot, and we had some ideas to speed things up, and like you said, just to get 3 looks at it, and if you don't see anything more than that, then playing the ice stands. So, which is not a bad. I don't think it's that bad of an idea. I mean, if it's so close that you have to zoom in for a millimeter offside, I mean, that's not really what replay's for. I mean, that's not. It's kind of weird to me. I don't know.
When it comes to the review for offsides, I would almost rather them, like, because your skate's off the ice, your body's still outside the zone. Like that, to me, it's the more that we see it, the more that gets talked about, the more it feels like a technicality to me. Just rewrite the rule.
I think that'll wrap it up. Unless we have anything else to talk about here in the YouTube chat. At least Don Denkinger didn't slow the game down, says Tom Davis.
That's a good point.
Got the call wrong, and they moved on.
That's right.
America's team filled with Canadians, Tom Davis says. That's
That's true.
That's true. I think that'll wrap up episode 46 of season 8 of the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube chat during the live show. Had a lot of conversation. It was good stuff. We hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Jeff Ponder and Bill Day, I'm Kurt Price. Until next time, everyone, Happy New Year and Let's Go Blues.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. 2020 vision says Blues win the cup again. Let's go Blues.
You'll Adam Sandler there. That's nice.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available.
A look at fourth.
I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to number one. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues. The Blues are on the ice tonight again.